think Mitch wants to start this off, so Mitcheth, get to it.
Oh.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That was too intense. I need to dial it back a bit.
Yeah.
Big news today, as seems to be literally the Disney, like, you know, what was it?
Extravaganza.
The
Literally.
when that was trending on Twitter, what was trending right beside it was the thing we had here from, like, I saw the headline about the Obi-Wan series, as we now know, Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. A little touch I noticed in the poster I didn't notice until second time viewing is the eye at the end of Kenobi is Obi-Wan's lightsaber. And yeah, like that, something about the Kenobi series. Well, okay, cool. Yeah, we know about it. We got to see the title. I just saw that headline come up of just like the image of it, and then I read the headline. Not just like the fact that the news of it, just the wording of it too. That we have the first line in this headline about the Kenobi series: Hayden Christensen returns as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like that. These, like, just hearing it's like not Hayden Christensen returns, not Hayden Christensen returns to Anakin. Hayden Christensen returns as Darth Vader, joining Ewan McGregor in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I was freaking out. Everyone was freaking out. It's like the whole my timeline
blew up.
The whole timeline was just. Yeah.
Because we've been wanting this for a long time, like long before like the new trilogy and everything. And then when new trilogy came along, we were like, okay, come on, you got to bring Hayden back for like flashbacks. Nothing, because just stupid director. But anyway, now he's being redeemed in the show, and just yes, finally! Like, I'm so excited and so happy for Hayden. He's like, and we've like the three of us have spoken about. We had like a 2-hour long conversation about how amazing Hayden is in private. And just like, this is his chance to just show off, like, again, like how good he was at playing Vader and Anakin as well. So
I know this little clip here. Let me just grab it.
Wait, there's
quick.
a clip?
It's not a clip of
I was about to say, God damn you.
There was apparently a little like sort of behind the scenes like sort of interviews reel they did. But
we did not get to see it.
That was only like for the investors and so on.
We'll get to that sort of content out for a second. I just want to share this real quick. This is the little clip everyone's been sharing around. I'll turn the volume down a little bit. The little clip everyone's been sharing around.
Getting into Darth Vader. That's the cool part.
Everyone on the crew, everyone on my crew wanted to be involved in this. The day we were on set with him and then he came into shot and you saw him shining as he went up, you just thought, that is an amazing thing.
Takes us back to the old days.
It's like, and I remember that the thing that was like from behind the scenes, Revenge of the Sith back in the day watching that, it's like it wasn't originally planned he was going to be Vader, but like specifically asked, can I be the one in the suit when Vader has appearance? I actually didn't know
that was him. That's what I was about to say. I thought that was somebody else.
Yeah, every scene in Revenge of the Sith, you see the suit, which is only like 2 scenes, that's Hayden in the suit. He specifically asked if he could wear the suit for those scenes. It's actually him in the suit.
He's a big guy. He's tall,
yeah, he's 6'2" or something. So, you know,
damn.
and yeah, that the suit was custom made to fit him. It was the first Vader suit that had been officially made like since Return of the Jedi. They put a lot of effort into making that suit, and it's custom made to him, and he wore it in all the scenes you see in Revenge of the Sith.
And they're gonna have to do it again.
I know that's what I was so happy to hear. That's like that he's playing. He's just playing Darth Vader, and it's like that's the thing. It's like we're gonna have I think a bunch of scenes of him like in the meditation chamber or the Bacta tank, like with helmet off. We'll see him just him as Vader. And then stuff like, I think every scene, like, it'll be James Earl Jones voicing him in a bunch of scenes, but I think every scene where we see Vader, I think probably every scene we see Vader will be Hayden, because he can fight too. We don't need a stunt guy for the swordsman for Vader.
Alex, what were your thoughts when you first saw it?
It's like, I sort of expected that it had happened as well, because like I was like woken up this morning, like the bedroom door slamming open, then she comes in with this phone and just like starts reading out all this stuff. Goes through everything. It's like, I believe, not all of it, because like Bad Batch had like I didn't just say that like the teaser for that just like it's released as you were running upstairs.
Yeah, I ran upstairs because it was getting close when Game Wars was going to be on. And I thought you need to wake up. And also, it was literally like, I thought, well, it's like an hour to Games Wars. You didn't need to be up then. I thought, no, I can't wait because I literally saw news that Hayden's playing Vader and Obi-Wan. I thought, nah, I'm going to come and wake you up now and tell you.
I thought, all right, there's one thing he keep mentioning of like saying, okay, so there's one thing, and then like sort of building up to like sort of like saying, I thought it's gonna be Hayden's back. It's like Hayden's back. And I was like, yeah, Hayden's back. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool.
And then the fact that
it's one of those things... in all honesty, that was the news I woke up to as well, because you messaged me. So I woke up and I looked at my phone. I was like, and then I like looked, and then everywhere is just Hayden, and I was like, yes.
That's not someone saying reportedly Hayden is being approached for a role. It's not someone saying there was a leaked set photo. You see that it's like, no, they officially made an official announcement to say that Hayden is returning.
It shows that they know how much like we want. There's literally when Kathleen Kennedy was presenting all the different shows and everything and talking about it, that she. I'm just leaning back and just holding the mic up. But when she was presenting all different shows and everything like that, and she mentioned the Obi-Wan series, there was no extra details apart from the time, which is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, so about 9 years before A New Hope. So it's quite round about the middle.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's just telling about the Obi-Wan show, doesn't really give any away, but just on the screen behind her, just picture of Hayden. It's like the major point of the announcement was to confirm that Hayden is coming back as Anakin / Vader.
I wonder how he must be feeling because the internet's just blown up.
Yeah.
So,
I really hope that he's feeling the love, and like.
I think so.
He is, because like I remember when it was Star Wars Celebration. I forget which one it was. It was wasn't the 2019. It
was a couple of years ago.
2018, I think. The 2019 Star Wars Celebration. He attended, and it's like that was huge. Everybody's like, it's the first one that he'd been to like since he'd been in the films, and it's like. All these different interviews with him. There was one I remember. It's like they had like this sort of chill out lounge interview area where it's just like the lounge in the Millennium Falcon, like around the chess table. It was just sitting there being interviewed, and like they were just sort of like had like this really calm little casual sort of interview sort of thing about like what's like sort of going on from there. And like the main thing we were talking about how it's like it's good to hear like what his thoughts are on like the franchise and the fandom at the moment. Like he doesn't really like have anything against the fans or like the films.
Bless his
like,
heart, because
like,
he went through shit because of
they'll
everything
bring
that
up
happened.
like sort of like some of the memes and the jokes. And it's like it's something that like he probably like will like have a laugh about now. So like he's so like just so it's like looks at it as like it was like it was kind of weird. As like some of that was like kind of like could have been a little better, but it's like it doesn't matter. Just like I had a lot of fun. I like it was just like working with my friends. Just doing. It was just like a really good time on that. And then like seeing it as well, there was it's like all of the different premieres, I think, for any of the new movies. It's like he's been there all of them. I remember there was one that sort of him being interviewed on the red carpet about, I think it was for, might have been Rise of Skywalker, or I think it might, no, I think it was for I think it was for The Last Jedi, and he was being like, they were talking to him about Kelly, and they were just asking about Kelly, and he's like, he just had as like someone who's like sort of been through the same sort of like online like sort of harassment that like that she's gone through, sort of like just like had this little message of like you just like it's like you think of it this way, you look at it this way, and it's like you can look past all of that. It's like people will like there's like all of these different things that people will like hold against you, but that's not anything that's your fault. You haven't done anything wrong. That's all on them. That's all on them choosing to dislike you over something, and choosing to try and make that into your fault that they don't like you. And like, and it's like, but it's sort of like, it's like he's acted a little bit here and there. He's done a few like just a couple of films that he's like has a few little roles in here and there recently. But no, they said for the most part he's just been running a farm. Just like vibing out and just like this place. But then like thinking that this like I thought, I've always thought that if they ever like properly gave him the call like to like come back and do something with you, and he would be there instantly.
Oh yeah,
like,
especially because he's working with his friend again. More importantly,
and it's like and like having that feeling of like the sort of the team getting back together. It's like. I'm just thinking, like, imagine the moment of, like, begin, like, the press tour for everyone. Like, so, like, some of the early, like, was just the idea of, like, just the two of them being interviewed together about, about the show. Like,
This is gonna be so good.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure he said didn't he did that costume fitting on like the volume.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they
he
took him
did.
into the volume and he did like some promotional the costume fitting images something on the volume.
Does
Yeah.
that mean they did costume fitting for Hayden yet?
Maybe not
Probably
yet,
might.
but possibly. They probably. I'm not
Maybe
sure.
not yet.
They well, actually,
Because
no.
they
They,
do start
no.
filming
Oh no, wait. They
next month.
they must have because they're filming next month. So they must
Yeah.
have. Yeah. Okay. I guess they did. Just kept it secret. They've had to be fitting Hayden for his
They
new
did-
Vader suit.
Did it really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
They've had to be fit. That's why the lighting team. It's
What?
probably I probably got it wrong about the Sith cultists. That's why Vader's lightsaber is shown fighting Clash of Darksaber because Vader's lightsaber is in this Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
Right. That's probably what it is.
why.
Okay, I'm completely wrong, but that's probably what it is. But that's probably they're probably because they probably had to make the prop for Vader's lightsaber while they're working on Mando and stuff, so they have the two lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. That probably would
God,
make sense.
It's so much more real now.
Just imagine like when the first promo pics come out.
I know. Just the fact that
Oh.
the fact that they've.
Do you think they'll do set photos or they'll have like just like promotional stills or something? Because I was thinking just going in like some like kind of heavier robes, you know, it's like getting like a lot more of the sort of like Alec Guinness style like sort of haircut and longer beard and so on, and then like that one, and then just one of like I'm just picturing it as like Hayden standing there in the full suit, just like standing like facing forwards and just like holding the helmet.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like just that like helmet off him, just him standing holding it. That would be so cool.
Kind of like, well, it's not exactly the
Whether
same,
it
but
be-
like Kylo does it in The Last
Yeah.
Jedi too, in the elevator before he
Yeah,
crashes
yeah.
it. So yeah, I reckon it
And then in
because
the show we see.
I don't know because in Rebels like the design you can't see it a lot, but like I can't remember if there was scarring on his face. You know, like when the cut happens.
So like when Rebels is kind of weird, and from what we saw in Rebels, it's either you can headcanon it as Ahsoka is just seeing Anakin the way she remembers him,
Yeah.
or that he healed incredibly well after Mustafar because he's got an eyebrow in Rebels.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his skin looks pretty normal. So it's either Ahsoka just seeing him the way she remembers him, or it can be assumed that he actually healed pretty well after Mustafar. But then when we see him in Return of Jedi, it's probably he's been force lightning by Palpatine.
And then just like the
and
the
it's
decay.
the same as same as what happened to Palpatine. He's been burnt, you know.
Oh,
It's
but
like-
I'm excited to see what they do though. Like whether it
Yeah.
is like fully
It's-
scarred or if it's like changed.
I
I'm
think-
excited.
I think like what we kind of saw in Rogue One, when you just a brief shot of it, sort of lowering the water lowering over it. His skin is very pink, but it doesn't look like red raw like it is in Revenge of the
So
Sith.
it's probably like healed, but it's like probably like
healed.
scarred.
It's healed, but he's got scars all over his face and obviously no hair or anything. It's so crazy to think that considering they're filming next month that they have already fitted Hayden for his Vader costume.
And they probably have
Filming
concept
next-
art for like what he
and-
looks
You
like
know.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filming next month and filming was it filming half an hour away from where one of our mutual friends lives, as I learned last night.
Really?
Yeah.
We were saying everything about how Hayden must feel so happy to be doing this, that sort of thing. And like remember the statement here that this was the footage that was shown to investors that we didn't get to see, unfortunately. The Hollywood Reporter reported on that, and I don't know if they got to see it or something, but they were reporting like some of the bits from that we got to see, probably the bits they're allowed to talk about. They said that the footage shown to investors featured Ewan McGregor saying, Ewan said how the most beautiful thing of all about the series is it's brought me back together with Hayden Christensen. It's like, he's just so happy to be working with him again. And he also said that they will have another swing at each other. Right? That is because it's a little headline here as well. I saw Hollywood Reporter again. They phrased it in a really interesting way. I wasn't sure exactly what they meant straight up first of all, but I think I get what they mean now. Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi will get another chance to deal with Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker in Disney Plus's Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it's like he's gonna get another chance to deal with Anakin Vader and what he's become. And that's what, and was it Kathleen Kennedy said? Basically, the scene 38 edit of like the more badass fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin in A New Hope. Disney's basically doing that themselves. We're gonna get that because was it Kathleen Kennedy worded as was it the rematch of the century?
Yeah.
That's what we're getting, and it's like. Originally, when people like theorizing about what the heck can happen to the show, I was kind of unsure how I felt about the idea of them dueling again before A New Hope. But now I really see like what it sounds like the wording of that headline of he'll have another chance to deal with Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel like the line that we never really got explained too much, because at the end of Revenge of the Sith, he's very much the mindset of, you know, yeah, you are my brother Anakin, I loved you, that sort of thing. Then we cut to Return of Jedi. He's telling Luke he's more machine now than man. There's no good in him. You have to kill him. That's your only choice.
Yeah.
And he has that mindset, right? He's simply saying, like, you know, you can't turn him back. He's evil. That's it. But in the same movie, Vader says Obi-Wan once fought as you do when Luke's trying to turn him back.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen that change from there is still good in him. I can still save him, even though what he's become, I can still bring him back to there's no good left in him. He's completely evil. There's no saving him.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that change yet. And I think that change is going to come in the form of, we theorized about before. I don't know. I think I think a lot of it got cut because it was very off topic.
It did get cut because I'll just explain it briefly in this video,
Mm.
because I was going to make it into a separate video, but I did not know that they would eventually announce the show so early.
Yeah.
I was actually going to do it like at the end of the year, like one last like aftermath episode of us just like randomly chatting. But anyway, we're going to re-say it, what we said in that episode.
But I was theorizing that what could be a major plot point of the Obi-Wan series, and it's sounding very, very much likely now, is that Anakin and Obi-Wan are still like, well, Obi-Wan and Vader are still connecting through the Force, because they still have this bond and this connection, and they're still like connecting each other through the Force. Not as strong as the blood tie connections we've seen, like between Luke and Leia, and other family members like that, and not as strong certainly as Rey and Ben, because that's like a dyad sort of connection. But the sort of connection where like they can sense each other every now and again and have like little moments of interacting. I theorized there could be little moments that be really powerful, because they do have a really strong connection, and I feel it's like tying into that a little bit, having a moment something like where they sense each other. It'd be very much like the bit in The Last Jedi where Rey and Ben sense each other first time and Rey tries to shoot him. Be so like if they like connect to each other for the first time, like Vader's meditating, really trying to connect to Obi-Wan, trying to find him, where is he, and he connects to him and, you know, locates him, and they sort of connect to each other briefly, have a moment of like sort of just seeing each other, and Vader like reaches out in the Force and Force chokes Obi-Wan through the Force, and like, sort of just severs the connection sort of it, and just like just falls to the ground like like he's almost like Vader was able to grab him in the Force, and like, and then you get sort of thing of the story and the idea of Obi-Wan having to go off world and go leave Tatooine to deal with something could be really useful if it's in the sort of situation of he has to leave, because if Vader keeps connecting to him, he's going to zero in on where he is and find out that he's on Tatooine. And so he has to leave for a bit and try and deal with this problem. And like, sounding like very much we're going to get straight up, it's going to, one thing's going to lead to another, and they're going to fight again. And we're not going to get Alec Guinness versus Dave Prowse. We're not going to get Hayden as Anakin versus Ewan as Obi-Wan. We're going to get Ewan as not exactly Ben Kenobi dueling Hayden as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
We're not even gonna be like, it's that's the thing things will be when it says that Hayden's playing Darth Vader, because like obviously it'll be James Earl Jones doing the voice when he's in the suit, but it's not gonna be like just Hayden for like there's not going to be like a swords master. It's going to be doubling for the lights and stuff. It's going to be every single scene of Vader. I'm pretty sure will be Hayden in suits doing the everything, and then doing the duels too. And like against like we had the Hope scene. The Hope scene is our, like, we've had some badass Vader moments in the comics and novels and video games. We never really got to see live action. The Hope scene was our little taste of that, and like seeing this like Vader unleashed the way we've always had him described in other forms of medium, seeing in film him being this monstrous, just dark figure, right? I do not doubt they're going to eclipse the Hope scene as because they have to. What they're setting out to do here, they've got to eclipse Battle of the Heroes.
Yeah.
And to make a fight that's emotionally and choreography-wise better than the Battle of the Heroes
choreography, they have to get it on point.
It's got to be this amazing lightsaber fight, which fortunately we have two actors that performed the last best choreographed lightsaber fight in Star Wars. they've done it before, and you know, I'm sure they can do it again. The major challenge I'm interested in is Hayden learning to do it in the suit with the helmet on, because that's a lot of restrictions that, you know, he wouldn't have had before.
I mean,
the stuff I was theorizing also about the plot would be, they have that confrontation. I wasn't exactly theorizing they'd have a full confrontation, full lightsaber fight, assuming that is now what we're getting. I assume that going into this one, Vader will be kind of lose. Not like lose like he did a Mustafar, like it'll be more of an even match, but Obi-Wan still sort of have the upper hand. And then going into, you could then headcanon it, going into A New Hope, the reason it's such a simple and slow fight is Vader's more, he's being cautious this time, because what happened, he lost the last 2 times because he just charged in, and
because he was just like full force.
Yeah. And so if he's like, with this fight, he's similar to that, and he sort of doesn't get beaten. He probably gets a couple hits. Obi-Wan hits him a couple of times, and it's probably like, going into then A New Hope fight, he's more cautious. He doesn't just charge in. He's more reserved. He doesn't have his rage as much. He's just like, so he's just sort of standing there, lightsaber activated, waiting for Obi-Wan, and then walks forward into battle race stance, and they just start dueling. Like, you know, he's more ready and more calm, and he's centering himself and focusing.
Oh wait, that's another thing. Like, he doesn't even know he's Darth Vader. Anakin's Darth Vader.
Yeah, he probably sense it, but I think it's like he hasn't seen him since Mustafar. You know, and like the sort of thing of that we have, like that's the thing that's really getting me about like what's gonna be so interesting about the story, is the fact that Luke saying, you know, you can come with me, we can get away from here, and get away from the Emperor, you don't have to serve anything. And there's still good news, that sort of thing. And Vader says like, Obi-Wan once fought as you do, meaning there was a point where Obi-Wan tried to turn him back from the dark side, which he didn't really do in Mustafar. He just sort of angry at him and sort of just fought him. You know, but it's like there was a point where he tried to bring him back and it didn't work, and he just gave up on him. And I think that that's where the way Vader isn't able to find Obi-Wan on Tatooine and is able to, you know, just it's nothing that he's not able to find him, not able to find Luke, is I'd assume it's literally going to be something like, at the end of it all, Obi-Wan severs their connection, and they cannot connect anymore, and he'll never be able to connect with him, and that's it, they're gone. And that then he'll never be able to find Obi-Wan, and then unless they're like, actually in proximity, I guess. Because then like in New Hope, when he sends Obi-Wan, he says, was it I sensed something? He said, I've sensed a presence. So he said, I sensed something, a presence not felt since. So looks off it since, and then he walks away. He doesn't say since Mustafar. He says he hasn't sensed him in a long time, and then realizes who it is. And he says, he's saying like, was he says to Tarkin, was it, Obi-Wan Kenobi? He's here. He said that I was saying like just sense service in the Force. The last time I sensed this was in the presence of my old master. So like he doesn't say there was Mustafar. He says he hasn't sensed also, this presence like, since the last time they met.
Even more specifically, he doesn't sense Obi-Wan, he senses this particular disturbance in the Force that he's only ever sensed around Obi-Wan. So his thing, it's like he isn't, it's not like a sort of situation of like he immediately senses him.
He doesn't even sense Obi-Wan, he senses something that is a feeling he associates with him. Which would work if he severed the connection.
I sense a presence I've not felt since. It's like, I sense a presence.
So...
Like, it's like, so it's something...
So it seems like one or the other cut each other off. And then it's like when that sense, like that aura is coming closer, then he's like, he recognizes it.
Because in Rebels, which is 4 years for A New Hope, season 2, he's like, Palpatine, he's talking to Palpatine about everything. He sensed Ahsoka, and Palpatine says, how was it, she could lead us to other lost Jedi in places such as Kenobi. And Palpatine says, perhaps, if he lives. So they have no idea where he is at this point. And he's still looking for him. I can just picture it the way, I just know it's going to go this way. Like, the third, it's only 4 episodes. It's only like a very short miniseries, which is, as I say, it's fairly reasonable considering like it's still going to be longer than a movie would be. It's reasonable,
but it's like I want so much more with Vader. So
I know. It's at least I hope it's like, I think it's the good length because they won't overdo it. And they'll tell just the right amount, right length of stuff. And I can just tell the way it's like going to go. It's going to be like the third episode, like second last episode. And it'll just be like, it'll end with like a moment of like Vader just staying there, just activating his lightsaber in front of Obi-Wan. It's like, they're about to fight, that sort of thing. And then I think the next episode should be like, at least half the episode should be the duel.
Definitely.
While they could do something really interesting of like sort of leaning into the emotional context of it, beyond just like the plot context of like, okay, so cutting off someone in the Force, you would do it. I imagine a big part of it would be cutting them off emotionally as well. He's, you know, beyond my help. You know, I just have to like abandon him. Anakin Skywalker is dead. You know, and sort of think of it like that. And then what that could be really, really interesting. Like thinking of the idea of like, if like there is still like, you know, just like the small sliver of goodness that it was still there in Vader, as we know, that Luke was able to find, if like it's part of the thing of like he then feels a little betrayed by that as well, of like feeling less so, even more than just on Mustafar, but like once again Obi-Wan abandoned him, you know.
Yeah.
And like, you know, he probably like just like walked away completely and like, you know, just like cut him off from like ever, you know, being able to connect to
have
him,
that
you know,
emotional
through the Force
connection
again. And like, because I mean, I know it's something they said that this is the plan for the series, is like it's going to be like a really, really, really sort of like deep, serious sort of story, like really, really emotional. They said how they're going to look into like sort of trauma and post-traumatic stress, and like all of like what, not just fighting his friend and like losing his friend, losing everyone he cares about, but also like just what all of the war did to Obi-Wan, and like sort of how like, you know,
Master died, the love of his life died
in his arms.
His brother, he had to kill him basically.
Yeah.
You know.
Everyone else stole the other Jedi.
And like, by the end of it, Obi-Wan has no one.
Yeah.
Just because he's lost everybody, and like he has to isolate himself because of just like certain things. But like, like it's like he also is another very like emotional and just like impactful character as much as Anakin, because Anakin I have so much respect for, and I love his character, as like bittersweet as it is. It's so beautiful. But like, I didn't even think of that. Like Obi-Wan has such a like a sad story as well, but it's also so beautiful because just how much he puts on the line, not only for the war, but after that for Luke, and just everything after that. It's just like,
it's actually like, because if anything, they kind of both go through the same things. Basically, Anakin and Obi-Wan. They've really like, it's like in a different situation, they like would have like, they almost like essentially had exactly the same experiences going through. And
that's very true.
It's the difference of how they relate to how they are impacted by those experiences, and what they choose to do with all of that. Like Anakin is a much more emotionally driven person. He's like sort of comes from a much more sheltered life. He's sort of like much less experienced has much less experience of like all this trauma much less experience of dealing with it than Obi-Wan does, because, and I just realized I hadn't even thought about this. I was thinking about how, like, if anything, like, it just kind of reminds me of, like, their relationship a lot of the time. It's sort of like Lilo and Nani in Lilo and Stitch. And, like, just thinking about the idea of thought, oh my god, what happened, like, right at the start is they both lost a parental figure in Qui-Gon. The difference is, while Anakin was still processing that loss, Obi-Wan had to compartmentalize it because he had to raise Anakin then.
That's true, yeah.
And, like, that's something that then happened, like, again, and tons of times more through the Clone Wars is, like, it's sort of, like, the idea of, like, Obi-Wan had the responsibility of, like, he always, whenever something came up, he could never just, like, stop and, like, sort of process it. He had to just compartmentalize it and get on with what he was doing, you know? Like, when Satine died, he immediately then was, like, you know, having to work with Bo-Katan to help orchestrate a revolution, you know?
And that also connects kind of like even in Clone Wars with that one episode, I can't remember what it is, but it's like he fakes his death and then he goes undercover, and how much emotional trauma that caused to Anakin. And when he comes back, he's like, I didn't want to hurt you, but Anakin's like, you did hurt me because I thought you were dead. So, and you betrayed me. And that's, I think is the moment when Obi was like, oh, like he didn't realize the impact of his like actions. So I think that's also the moment where you see the mirror from both of them. Like you said, they're very similar. So I think that's when you see the similarities as well.
But I really like how, like, the fact that they're, like, billing it as such a big thing of Hayden's Return, and, like, the fact that this potentially, it could be, like, less so that, like, he has a little minor guest role in it, but more like, no, this is their story. This is a story about the two of them.
Yeah.
Specifically, I'm just thinking about, like, there's a story about exploring both of their both of their trauma, both of their history, you know, and like saw like the different ways that they each relate to it and react to it, the different ways they feel about each other and about the worlds around themselves at the moment. It's like, yeah, I think this is gonna be really, really, really interesting sort of like
I think it will
psychological story.
And even in the video that we just did, which was about like Bad Batch and stuff, like we know that that's going to be dark because that's after Order 66, but this is going to be like also really dark and handling a lot of dark emotional like subjects. So I think this is a different side to Star Wars we don't get to see often. We get to see like little shadows of it, but like to have a series focusing on it, it makes me really happy, and I'm so excited to see it. Like, or any teasers that come out, I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be amazing.
But then getting to have like these much more focused, like sort of specific looks on different aspects of the universe is like that's the best part of like, you know, any of these different series, and like getting to like have all this deeper context beyond like sort of different things, like get to have, as I was talking about in the previous video, of like having a sort of like this like beautiful tragedy war story about squadrons, you know, I mean, to have like a sort of like a crazy sort of like, you know, gangster comedy story about like, you know, all of Lando's exploits and the criminal underworld.
Yeah.
And like, you know, all of these different things you get to explore, and then being able to have like this sort of like really deep, emotional, philosophical, and spiritual story about Obi-Wan and Anakin. And like, you know, it's like, yeah, there's like so much cool stuff that they can do with it.
But yeah, Vader, Hayden, Obi-Wan.
Yes, such good news.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happened today. It's been a
long day,
and we still got goddamn Mando.
I know, we're gonna be dead by tomorrow. Anyway, guys, we will see you tomorrow. I'm probably posting this during the night, so it'll be up whenever. Enjoy it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow when we're not so sleepy.
We'll see you all for Mandalorian.
Bye-bye.
Bye.